It's Monday, 19th of January, and these are the stories that made it to the top on the news dailies. We'll start from the Punch newspaper this morning. On the Punch newspaper, we have on the burning surface petrol war. Importers outpace Dangote with 62% supply in 2025. And the sub-story is a federal government report shows high-stakes struggle for Nigeria's petrol market as 15% fuel import duty looms. All the stories are on the page 16 of the Punch newspaper. We also have a drama as Senegal beats Morocco to claim AFCON title. That story is on the page 15 of the Punch newspaper. Moving down, INC protests over Fubara impeachment plot. Stories on the page 26 of the Punch newspaper. Motorists struck as multiple collisions ground Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. The stories are on the pages 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper. 2027, my re-election unstoppable. Oti tells Orji Kalu. That story is on the page 24 of the Punch newspaper. Federal government allocates below 1% of 2026 budget to fight poverty. That story is up. You'll find it on the page 18 of the Punch newspaper. Cash rush. ATM withdrawals jump 198% to 36 trillion naira. That story is on the page 34 of the Punch newspaper. 30 billion naira relief. Or your cries politics as Makinde faces EFCC petition. On the page 4, you will find that story on the Punch newspaper. Moving to the next, which is The Nation. The Nation newspaper. On the Nation newspaper, the burning surface today, we have recapitalization. 20 banks in race to escape CBN hammer. The sub-story, the financial institutions weighing options of downgrading status. That story is on the page 2 of the Nation newspaper. Moving up, ACO Group hails Uku on global recognition by Marquis Who's Who. That story is on the page 2 of the Nation newspaper. Oyo gives 25 million naira cash to families of slain forest guards. That story is on the page 4 of the Nation newspaper. Banks offer 27% interest on savings, charge 60% on loans. That story is on the page 12 of the Nation newspaper. Going down, we have killer suspect of women, 6 children in police net. That story is on the page 3. If you want it, it's continued on the page 3 of the Nation newspaper. ICPC files charges against Ozekome over ownership of Hussaini's UK house. That story is on the page 3 of the Nation newspaper. On the sub-story is on I got disputed property as gift for election petition cases. SAN insists, and we have no record of passport used in UK land registry, says immigration. That story is on the page 3. All of them you find it on the page 3 of the Nation newspaper. Brave Senegal stun hosts Morocco to claim second AFCON title. More of that story is sitting right on the page 2 of the Nation newspaper. And that's all for the Nation newspaper. Moving to the next, which is the Guardian newspaper. On the Guardian newspaper this morning, on the burning surface, we have SEC's new capital rules stir anxiety, stress test portfolio managers. That story on the burning surface, you'll find it on the page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Oyo Group decry Nigeria's 150,000 sickle cell beds yearly burden. Stories on the page 7 of the Guardian newspaper. NAF kills over 40 insurgents and disrupts Bornu attacks. That story is on the page 28 of the Guardian newspaper. Federal government bans mining activities within 10-kilometer radius of bridges nationwide. That story is on the page 26 of the Guardian newspaper. Pengassan pushes for minimum wage replacement with sectoral CBAs. Stories on the page 29 of the Guardian newspaper. 2027, North seeks consensus on security governance issues. That story is on the page 28 of the Guardian newspaper. Going down, legal hurdles, assembly, silence deepen rivers, impeachment uncertainty. Legal hurdles, assembly, silence then deepens rivers, impeachment uncertainty. That story is on the page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Eulogies, emotions, farewells as at evening of tributes for Alex Tomopoulos. The story is on the page 2 of the Guardian newspaper. Now going up, NFIU, Nigeria's exit from FATF, EU Black Book, a boost for financial system. That story is on the page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. World Bank, large-scale rural road investments key to Nigeria's food security goal. You'll find a story on the page 16 of the Guardian newspaper. Federal government to inject 30 billion naira in 74 federal varsities as unions urge pact execution. That story is on the page 4 of the Guardian newspaper. And that is all for the Guardian newspaper today. I'm moving to the next, which is the Daily Times. The Daily Times newspaper, on the burning surface, after 12 years, wanted drug suspect arrested for alleged killing of NDLEA officers. Moving to the next story, we have a picture story of the match that was concluded yesterday in Morat. Senegal wins the AFCON Cup, and going down we have Jonathan Akpabio task NSE on tackling infrastructure failures quackery. That story is sitting right on the page 7 of the Daily Times newspaper this morning. The burning surface story is sitting right on the page 2, while this one is sitting on the page 7 of the Daily Times newspaper. AfriInvest challenges NBS inflation data and demands transparency on reference period. That story is also sitting right on the page 2 of the Daily Times newspaper. Going up, 17 human trafficking victims rescued by police in Nasarawa State. That story is on the Daily Times newspaper. You can figure out the pages by getting a copy of the paper. Moving on, e-commerce SMEs full growth in Nigeria's $8 billion air freight market. The Daily Times newspaper has that story, and go to it if you want more of the stories. And if any of the stories from the newspaper review this morning catches your attention, get any of these papers and read.